Good morning. Most of you know this is some pre-recorded videos here, but I'm glad to be a part of your day in some small way, and hope you be praying for one another, for us. And God is certainly good to let us serve Him. Maybe in the book of Jeremiah in a minute. Just thinking about things that are going on around us. We have on the first Sunday of November our victory rally, and our theme for the whole fall program is the value of one. Every one matters. Like Jesus with the widow and her two mites. He made a big deal about it. It wasn't how much he gave, it's that everybody matters doing what they can do. The little boy with his lunch. Jesus didn't need that boy's lunch. He could have used anybody's anything. He could use the rocks. But the little boy and everybody doing their part. And I want to encourage you at the victory rally, everybody do something. Just pray and ask God what He'd have you do. It doesn't matter what. But our victory rally, we have a $30,000 goal. We're remodeling, trying to upgrade and make things work. And we're putting some money together from our spring offering and this November victory rally. And so I hope you'll be a help and pray. And then in regard to every one mattering, we want everybody to carry a gospel tract. Carry a couple of tracts with you. Give those gospel tracts out. Give people maybe just a moment or two of the test of your testimony. But let's carry gospel tracts. Give them to people at least once a month, sometimes weekly. Someone is at our church because a tract was left in their door, or someone gave them a tract. And you matter. You do matter. And you matter at church. You matter in your walk with God. God walked each day with Adam in the garden. It doesn't say Adam and Eve. Now, He called their name Adam if you read it in Genesis, so it could have been the two of them. But God doesn't need a cathedral full of thousands of people. He needs you, and you matter individually. And don't shortchange how important you are to God and how important you are to the cause of Christ and to others. You have no idea. One kind deed, one little bit of encouragement. What is it that makes a difference in somebody getting saved? We've got a family coming to our church right now who started coming, and he got saved, as the dad got saved as a result of simply a neighbor friend sharing the story about this family, and somebody goes and visits them, and it was a teenager who just cared about a friend, just as simple as that, an adult friend, and because of one teenager caring, one of our folks visited the neighbor. The neighbor gets saved, and a whole lot of wonderful things have happened because somebody cared. One matters, just one. It's all it takes, and you matter so very much. So I want to mention a couple things. And by the way, don't miss. Start praying about our big day, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. That Sunday we have a big day. We're taking church out to the community. If you'd like to be a help, you can bring the week or so before the big day a bag of groceries or a turkey. But it'd be easy right now. Next time you're at the grocery store, buy a gift card, $25 gift card, and we're going to go out into the community and just say we're having a Thanksgiving service. We're going to just take some time to thank God for how good He is, have a church service in the park, and we're giving away some groceries while the supply lasts. At each of these different locations, we'll be Evan preaching, and I can assure you, 2, 3, 4 times the number of people who would be at church will be in church services scattered around our community. You never know. I can't tell you. I think our biggest day was, I don't know, way over 10,000. But we've had all kinds of numbers of people, and that's not the issue, because we're talking about the value of one, and that's what's important. But I hope you'll pray for our big day. There's a lot of needy people. There's a lot of scared people with what's going on in the world and wars and Washington D.C.'s a mess. And what are we going to do? I'll tell you, I want to trust God because He's always the same, always the same. Let me give you a thought, just one thought this morning. Jeremiah 10:2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. That's number one. Don't learn this way, the lifestyle. Don't learn to think like the godless people do. And number two, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Don't let the world around you panic you. Certainly, literally these people, some of them worshipped statues and idols. Some of them worshipped the sun, the moon, stars, things like that. But don't learn the way the heathen think. Don't learn to have our mistakes. We try to build our marriage the way the unsaved people do. We try to raise our children the way unsaved people do. They have no understanding. They have no wisdom. We try too often as pastors, we implement godless methods to church building. There's so many preachers. I want to find a way to build a church. Let me go to this leadership seminar. And it's a bunch of unsaved people. You know what? The greatest leader in the Bible that I know of is Moses and maybe Solomon. One, I'm thinking Moses is greater, but Solomon was able to lead this massive work, and he didn't have an MBA from Harvard. He had a relationship to God. Moses had a relationship to God. We don't need to build our churches the way the heathen build their organizations. Nothing against them. They want to build a hospital. They want to build a business. Fine. And thank God for them. I like Krispy Kreme and McDonald's and Taco Bell and all these. I like Penny's when they had suits. They don't do much for dress clothes anymore. They're on their way out, I think. They're kind of following Sears and Kmart. But I'm not against those places. I'm just telling you, that's not how we do the work of God. And I want my marriage built on the Bible. I want my training of my children based on the Word of God. I want my relationships to others. There's one day I just stumbled across this, and I've probably mentioned it in the past, but at a key time in my life, I was reading, and Charles Spurgeon said this: I'd rather be lied about than to lie about someone else. I'd rather be robbed than to rob someone. He said, I would rather have someone hate me than for me to hate them. And, in a long list, you can put it in there. But that's not a good option and a bad option. It's what's a right option? See, Jesus was hated. He was lied about. He was made fun of. Jesus was mocked and ridiculed. His own family said he's beside himself. He's crazy. We can't control that, but let's control us. And if somebody's going to break into our house and steal something, if somebody's going to try and rob our character, defame our name, or make us look bad on the job, better they do that to us than us do it to them. And that's where Peter comes in. When Jesus was reviled, he reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not. Don't play payback. Don't play payback in your marriage. My spouse did this, so I'm going to do that. That's not Christ-like. That's not the way the Bible runs. This person at work hurt me, so I'm going to hurt them. This person wouldn't help me in my time of need, so I won't help them in their time of need. No, that's Old Testament. Jesus said in Matthew, he said, you've heard that it had been said in your Old Testament, love your neighbor and hate your enemy, or love your friend and hate your enemy. But Jesus said, but I say, love your enemy. That's what sets you apart from this dirty world. Forgive. That's what sets you apart from this filthy world. Go on doing right when the world chooses to do wrong. That's what sets you apart. So Jeremiah is saying to the people of Israel, don't learn the way of the heathen. He says in verse 3, for the customs of the people are vain. Their customs, their routine, the way they operate, they're vain. They're not going to get anything done. He says there's no point in following people who will not accomplish what you want accomplished. Oh, let's follow the Lord. Seek ye first still works. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to thine own understanding. That still works. This is the guide for the child of God. Poor unsaved people. I tell you, I go through life thinking how sad it would be to be an unsaved, lost person. They have no hope because this is a mess. To be an unsaved conservative, it'd drive you crazy. But I can be conservative politically and conservative morally and conservative scripturally and have peace because I know where I'm going and I know who I'm going to see there. I know who's going to take care of me along the way, and he's faithful. In my Sunday school class recently, I told a little story. There's a guy named Isaac Backus who was very famous Baptist historian in the pre-colonial days. And Isaac Backus went to every Baptist church. And in those days, people kept pretty good records. I don't know if people do anymore. We don't. But a lot of details, who joined the church, who didn't, and who got married and who got ordained and what money we gave to wherever. And a lot of record keeping, a lot of details. And so he did. He was very well known in Baptist circles. Well, his mom, godly elderly lady, widow. It was still pre-Revolutionary War days, and the Congregational Church ruled in their area. And if you didn't pay your taxes to the Congregational Church to support the Congregational preacher, pastor, minister, whatever they call it, minister, I believe, then you would be fined. Your property could be confiscated and sold to pay your back taxes. And of course, the Congregational Church would have it sold at the very base rate. They wouldn't even tell anybody the auction's going on, and some friend of the minister would buy it for the pennies on the dollar and get all this estate or property, whatever, and then you could be in prison. Well, Isaac Backus on the road doing preaching and doing what he did, and he wasn't home, and he gets a letter from his mom. Well, 9 o'clock the other night, rainy, cold night, they came and they arrested me, took me down and threw me in prison. Next day, they got your two brothers, arrested them, and here this elderly widow and her two adult boys, and others, of course, but she's right there writing about her situation, imprisoned. Why? They would not support the Congregational Church. They wouldn't pay taxes that paid the Congregational Church wage. What would they think of what happens to our tax money today? But that's not the point. Here's a godly lady. All she had to do was say, I'll pay the taxes. I'll support the Congregational Church if you want me to. But she had some conviction. We're Baptists. You want us to support our government? We'll do that. You want us to support our nation's army? We'll do that. But you want me to put money in the offering plate of the Congregational Church? Not going to do it. Won't do it. And she went to jail for it. Long story. But just let's don't learn the way let's don't live like unsaved people do. You know, the average unsaved person will do anything for peace, anything for money, anything for temporary happiness. That's not godly. Let's do what we do because of him, because that's why we're here. It's for the glory of God. Whatsoever, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God. Let's learn not the way of the heathen.